Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today my Colin Farrell apology tour continues as I just finished watching season 1 of Sugar, and despite a super weird plot twist that kind of reminds me of a South Park episode, his acting in that show was phenomenal. Almost, by the way, as phenomenal as the game I'm expecting today between the Bloodless playing as the Saracens in green and Survivalist playing as the Bulgarians in red. Now, all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate enclosed-off surroundings because we find ourselves back on Arena today and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Saracens are a Civ whose strong market can be used to gain an early to mid-game advantage over their opponents. To start with, those markets only cost 75 wood, and their commodity trading fee is fixed right from the very beginning of the game at 5%. Which is significantly lower than the 30% that other civilizations have to pay when, for example, buying food early on. Now, using their economic advantage, the Saracens can field quite a hard-hitting, tanky army. Their foot archers come with an attack bonus against buildings, their camels come with a quarter more HP, their trebs, their mangonels, their onagers can all be upgraded to increase their attack, and their unique unit is the Mameluke, a ranged melee camel that actually comes with a pretty sizable attack bonus against cavalry. Might be bad news bears for our Bulgarian. Now, if, as sometimes happens in this game, you build your army, you train it, and then you right-click out onto the map, it meets some enemy units, a fight ensues, and all of a sudden you find that your units don't exactly have 100% of their HP left. They're injured. They need a little bit of TLC, they need a little bit of lovin'. Well, the Saracen Monk can be upgraded to automatically and passively heal multiple units nearby simultaneously. Now, who might want to injure those Saracen units, you might ask? Well, we look to the right of the map where we've got Survivalists herding a whole bunch of animals at the moment, playing as the Bulgarians in red, what I would call a cost-cutting civilization. Their militia line units upgrade free of charge and automatically. Think the way the Turks have their scouts becoming light cap, becoming hussars. Exactly the same thing for the Bulgarian and their militia line units. Their blacksmith upgrades, their siege workshop upgrades cost 50% less food, which is a significant saving, and their blacksmiths work almost twice as fast as normal. Now, their town centers also get a little bit of a discount. They do cost 50% less stone, which is great, since the Bulgarians can focus their stone expenditure on their unique unit, the Krepos. Their unique military structure, not unit. If it was a unit, it'd be a pretty chunky unit. It's a structure, the Krepos. Think of this as a mini castle, similar to the Sicilian donjon, except it's more expensive, but you pay for what you get. It comes with more HP, higher attack, tankier armor, and does give you 20 population space. Now, once you've saved your resources, the Bulgarians can invest the savings in building and upgrading a pretty tough army. Even though they don't get champions, their two-handed swordsmen can be upgraded with a massive +5 boost to their melee armor, which makes them pretty much miniature Teutonic knights, and they can upgrade their cavalry by turning them Japanese to attack 33% faster. And by the way, that applies to all of their melee cavalry, and that is fantastic news for their unique unit, the Conic. This is a 2-for-1 unit that starts out as a powerful, tanky, powerful flail-wielding cavalry unit that transforms into a somewhat less tanky, but still powerful infantry unit when he gets knocked off his horse. Those are the two civilizations we've got before us, both players currently exploring the tips of their opponent's bases. Let's see if they've seen any relics. For his part, Survivalist has not seen a single one. Green just barely missing. The Bloodless has seen the one to the center, but just so sour by one little tiny bitty tile. Looks like Survivalist Scout does take a few whacks. HP a little bit lower than his opponents, will run away. Nobody is heading up to the Feudal Age just yet, so gives us an opportunity as the Scouts kind of, you know what, on again, off again. They're in the off again phase of their relationship. Back off of one another. A few important things on Arena. Number one, are any forests forming part of your wall off? The answer for both players is a resounding and positive no. Number two, where are the internal resources? Survivalist has both gold and stone kind of close to the wall, which means monks will have a very fun time converting villagers or trying to convert villagers that are mining those patches. Gold, okay, a little bit more secure into the center. So not bad, but 2 of the 3 inner resources not greatly located, not located in a great position, rather. For his part, our Saracen has both his gold patches to the rear, stone also to the front, but again, easily lamed by a monk. Not so easily lamed by any kind of ranged units, at least not in the early stages of the game. So both players, not terrible, not great. They have some patches of resources. Everyone's got the extra stone and gold outside of their TC, the usual. Survivalist has a stone to the south, pardon me, gold to the south, stone to the north, and a nice little contested stone patch right next to his base, whereas the Bloodless has a nice stone patch and gold patch, actually nice and close to his base. Okay, so we'll see. The Saracens are pretty much a civilization that really, and when I say really, I really mean really, need map control and resources. This civilization, if you let it have its way with the map and the resources, there is almost no way in hell you're stopping it. On the other hand, if you can suppress the Saracens, keep them pinned back, and take up the resources yourself, then you're in a pretty good spot. So we'll see who will be the aggressor, who will be the aggressed against. Is that the right way of saying it? Who will be the aggressor, who will be the aggressed? I don't think aggressed is a word, but I'm going to invent the word now. That's how words all, I guess, get started. And the last thing you want to look at on Arena as I run my mouth about nonsense is expansions. Everyone has a little bit of area to the back. It kind of looks like our Saracen got screwed here because his expansion is kind of open. Ooh, I don't like that at all. So we'll see whether or not the Bloodless decides to wall this off. He does have a little bit of a pocket here, but I mean, what the hell are you going to do with this lumber camp? I don't think you would even put a town center there. So market, remember, 75 wood only, market, and a stable for our Saracen. So with a barracks down, a stable coming up, his resources just about to touch Castle Age. We should be seeing some scouts out of him in the near future. Survivalist as well. I'm glad Survivalist is not going to play super duper. I mean, I don't know, but usually when he goes for the market blacksmith build, being the two Feudal Age buildings he needs to get to Castle Age, when it's a market blacksmith, he generally plays a little bit more defensive. I'm glad to see a stable out of him. It means we're going to contest some relics. It means we're going to fight over some relics. And it means that stage 2 of Arena is going to be real fun. I'm going to give my usual dissertation, my PhD in the 3 stages of Arena. Stage 1, everybody rushes up to Castle Age. So in 2 minutes or so, when green and then a little bit later red reach Castle Age, that will be the end of stage 1. And why is that important? Because in stage 2 in Castle Age, you can build monasteries. And out of those monasteries, you can train monks, who are the only units here that can gather and carry and enjoy the bounty of these golden relics. And once all 5 relics are accounted for, after, I'm hoping, an exciting stage 2 full of monk snipes and unit kills and conversions, and the Bloodless knew it's a one-way trip. You do not want to go into your opponent's base unless you've given up on the scout, unless you've already seen all 5 relics, which he has not. This is incredibly sour. Still missing the relic that's here. What other relic? Oh no. I mean, come on. It's right there. Okay, he's going to discover it now. There we go. So, 3 relics have been seen by the Bloodless Survivalist. Oh my goodness, he's seen even fewer relics. This is just a weird scouting so far, 14 minutes into the game. In any event, stage 2 is about to begin. Saracen Market with the Green Ark of the Covenant is about to get built here. 3 villagers are on duty, and in 30 some odd seconds, I'm assuming we're going to get to see the exact same out of Survivalist. Both players starting to gather their scout numbers. Why scouts? Because they come with attack bonuses against monks. They're fast, they're mobile, they're maneuverable, and monks are very much not safe against this unit. That unit, though, not safe against this unit. So we'll see whether or not Bloodless decides to engage here. Probably will not. Survivalist, where's your monastery? There it is with the red Ark of the Covenant. How many Arks of the Covenant can exist in Age of Empires? Okay, well, I said the town center won't be to the back here, but it is to the back here. Nicely placed between, nestled in the bosom of 2 gold veins. Not a bad place to be at all as Survivalists. Okay, not a bad location a little as well, if he can secure this part. If he can't secure this part, this is a very bad location, because ranged units, which the Saracens have plenty of ranged units, can very much cause a massive headache for any villagers seeking to work there. But let's see who has the monk out first. Should be green with that earlier monastery and the earlier castle timing. Both players sitting on the same villager count. Spearman will see. Oh, are we finally going to have some kills here? So the Bloodless has upgraded his scouts to light cav. Survivalist is leaving them as scouts. So there's always pluses and minuses. The light cav will beat the scouts in a fight. It comes with a bigger attack bonus, 10 compared to 6 against monks. So it will snipe monks faster. But because they're wearing extra armor, even the horse is wearing a little bit of extra armor, they are slower. And when they're slower, they're less maneuverable. And these units are going to be lightning fast compared. I'm assuming they both have husbandry. I should not have assumed anything. They're both missing husbandry. Okay, you know what? As long as they're both missing husbandry, that's fine. But all that discussion, neither here nor there. Our Bulgarian is about to get light cavalry as well. And there they are. Okay, so they're going to be equally slow, but equally powerful. 18 minutes into the game, can we please have some blood on the dance floor? As right now the relic count is 0-0, but we did see the monks returning home, each with a relic, so it should be 1-1. I'm surprised that green relic still hasn't made it home. Where the hell is it? Where is it? There it is. Well, did he stop? I didn't notice, but did he stop somewhere for a cigarette break? This one light cavalry busting his way through the lines, getting paddled like a fraternity bro, but ultimately reaching the monk. Drawing first blood is our Bulgarian, who kills one monk but loses 3 scouts for it. Okay, on an open map where food is a little bit more important, and probably in some stages, early stages of the game, more important than gold, that would be a very big loss. But right now I'm not too sure. Getting a monk is not bad at all. It forces another 100 gold out of your opponent, which eats into any kind of relic gold they actually accumulate towards the end of the game. You don't really want to spend 700 gold just to collect 600 gold, you know? It's all mathematics, this game. All ones and zeros, pluses and minuses, multiplication, division. Not sure what the hell Survivalist thinks he's doing, but what is this? Okay, so Survivalist managed to discover a way to bribe his enemy's units as they just stood there, Praetorian Guard. We were paid to look the other way, and look the other way they did. As Survivalist, I thought initially was in a lot of trouble, being outnumbered 2-1 in scout count, and by the way, in HP count, outnumbered like 4-1. But it looks like the Bloodless dropped the ball there a little bit. Although we'll extract the price right now. One more scout. So 2 monks dead to 4 scouts. And that's 200 gold that our Saracen is going to have to recover before he even turns a profit. Right now, Survivalist, in the meantime, has gathered the last 3 relics. This last 5th relic is going to go to our Saracen, if he can make it home, which kind of seems like he will, since Survivalist isn't really poking out of his base. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once this slow-moving unit makes its way down to this structure, right-clicks on it, we will be officially done stage 2 of the game, and we are entering stage 3, where the players rush up to Imperial. Maybe not rush up, maybe meander a little bit to Imperial, but in any event, go up to Imperial, build their armies, clash, boom, bang, bing, boom, whatever it is, whatever the old Batman... I'm betraying my age here by referencing the original Batman with, what was his name, Adam West? Pow, kaplamo, ba-boom, whatever it was. With the atrocious acting, the terrible costumes, the horrible plot lines, and just insanely comical villains. But that is what stage 3 is basically like. There's going to be a lot of violence, is the bottom line. As Survivalist runs away, still no bloodlines, 4th TC for our Bulgarian. And it's always interesting for me for stage 4, stage 3, who will set foot out onto the map first. Okay, so Red will be able to just keep these units chasing him as long as he doesn't keep changing directions too much. If he changes directions, this green unit will catch up, although will he be able to kill the unit? No, it's at full health. So unless Survivalist stops, there's no real risk here of losing either of those light cavalry units. In the meantime, I love that Survivalist is keeping an eye out for any kind of attack. At the same time, the Bloodless is keeping an eye out on any kind of move out. Ooh, he ran pretty far. Will he lose? He does not lose. The line gets fainter and fainter. And Imperial Age for our Bulgarian first. Where's our Saracen? Unless he's already queued it up. He is nowhere close. That being said, to be fair, the Saracens, I see him going up to 650 stone. If they can get Mamelukes, those of you who watch our live streams and those of you who have listened to me rant and rave and fanboy out about the Saracens, even in Castle Age, the Mameluke is a pretty badass unit, especially now that he's adding Bloodlines. It is a camel unit. And so it comes with, I believe, the base model, a +9 attack bonus against cavalry, and then a +12 once it goes up to elite. So +9 is not terrible. So if that is in fact the direction our Saracen wants to go, right now he's going up to 750 stone. Okay, maybe he wants to put down 7 town centers. You never know. You never know what you're going to get to see in Age of Empires. Might be some bonkers play that nobody has ever heard of, nobody has even thought of or dreamed of, or it might just be what I thought it was originally, which is a castle, out of which no doubt will be trained Mamelukes. Okay, I feel like the Bloodlines upgrade was canceled and then redone or reclicked. Neither player really clicked. Moving out onto the map. Kill count still, those 4 scouts to the 2 monks. And Survivalist turns around. No military activity, no attacks, no nothing. Takes a whole bunch of damage and keeps on moving. He himself is going for an internal castle. So I'm very curious why neither player is stepping foot out onto the map. And there's that Imperial Age upgrade we all love to see, the pikeman upgrade out of our Bulgarian. Together with crop rotation, stone mining for our Saracen, fortified walls for our Saracen as well. So is he going to play defense? And there he is. One of the most badass units in the game. Ranged melee means that he's going to miss a lot of times when he fires his scimitar. And I'm hoping that at least one of these players, possibly the Bloodless, is going to notice that this Mameluke is moving very slowly and realize, hey, I don't have husbandry. I also have a dead monk out. What the hell is that monk doing out in the middle of the map? So Survivalist, I don't know if he just right-clicked around the map, but we are going for a little NASCAR-style circle loop. I think NASCAR is the one that's in a loop, right? Oh man, my car racing knowledge is not as great as it probably should be. What does he keep turning around and going back? I don't know what the hell is going on here. Why is Survivalist running around? Why is the Bloodless even chasing this? You know you're either going to be led into a trap or he's going to be just wasting your time. Okay, he realizes that, backs away. What's up here? Another light cab. More Mamelukes. Was I right about the +9? I was right about the +9. And this is a melee damage unit. So generally melee damage a little bit lower than Pierce, which makes it even deadlier against units like these halberdiers / pikemen. Okay, and after that entire chase for the last half an hour, here and there and there and here, Bloodless inexplicably just runs his scouts into a bunch of pike. But he's got to be careful. One of the big weaknesses, if not the biggest weakness of the Mameluke, is the fact that you cannot upgrade its shitty range of 3. It's even worse than the bearded axe throwing axemen, because they at least get bearded axe. These guys, you cannot upgrade their range. And by the way, converted was this red Mameluke. So our Bulgarian with the onagers. Now remember, getting them to onagers costs 50% less food. Right now, no real blacksmith upgrades to write home about. It begins his siege of the main gate, and let's see how Survivalist decides to respond to this. For now, bringing 3 villagers, a little bit of a maneuver to the north of the map. We'll keep an eye on what that does, because there really isn't much out there for the Bulgarian. Ooh, but wait a second. Is there something there for the Bulgarian? What an absolutely mistimed move out by Survivalist. Somehow every game that I've casted of him and the Bloodless, he somehow manages to get caught out with villagers. Although this time I will give Survivalist credit. I was gonna say usually he doesn't notice until it's too late. Terrible shot. Absolutely terrible shot. Second one, also not great. Usually he doesn't really notice until it's really late. This time the Survivalist noticed very early on. Didn't decide to open this gate to let in that Saracen army. Ran his units around. Missed a few good opportunities to get some onager shots there. At the same time, the Bloodless agreed with my assessment earlier on that this area needed to be walled in. But now you're walling in against onagers, which can just cut through the forest. Okay, let's see how the siege is going in the front. Survivalist is building walls behind it, so not terrible. Trash units are being exchanged. I'm surprised the Mamelukes aren't just stopping and fighting this. They can kite these halberdiers for days. Again, this is a melee attack of 10 against your 3 armor. So 7 damage done to a 60 HP unit. More creposts are being built in the center. Where even is this converted Mameluke? He's here. So Survivalist knows how powerful this unit is, that he doesn't want to send it into battle just yet. And look at this. Now it's his turn to chase not a light cav, but a villager. Bombardment to the front continues. Siege onagers for both players. Okay, let's see it. Not a great situation here for green as he takes an onager shot to the face. HP is terrible, but now he plays the kiting game, and look at red. Our Bulgarian is expanding everywhere on the map. I don't see conics just yet, but I do see a lot of Necrepos. I do see a lot of stables and barracks, so I still have no clue what the game of the game here is for our Bulgarian. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of infantry play just because the upgrades kind of look like it, but now look at the upgrades. Bloodlines, husbandry, and armor for the cavalry. Husbandry finally, same armor upgrades, and siege onager about to complete blast furnace. So our Saracen has prioritized the melee attack upgrades, whereas our Bulgarian has prioritized armor upgrades for his infantry. Infantry, which by the way, just hanging out here doing not a whole lot, having gotten those 2 kills. One of those is a villager, right? Yeah. Bombard cannons. Rather, a bombard cannon out. Ooh, siege onager, siege onager. We have seen these 2 fight with siege onagers before. It is so much fun. I'm hoping for some nice, big, juicy Bulgarian and Saracen pancakes. Now Survivalist realizes, hey, Bloodless realizes, hey, there's a bit of a gap here. I should probably plug that in, and does exactly that. Bombard cannon, will it be able to reach the Treb? It does reach the Treb. Now, it kind of sucks for the Bulgarians with all their cheap upgrades and whatnot that they don't get. Oh, that converted unit dies. They're stirrups. They don't get bombard cannons. So on the whole, Saracen Siege much better. Not in terms of price, obviously, because you can't beat 50% discount of 1,000 food, for example. But not only do they get bombard cannons and siege onagers, but they also have an upgrade called counterweights, which increases the damage of all of these units by 15%. All of their mangonels and onagers, and even their trebs. Not their bombard cannons, I don't think. And here we go. Tanky Mamelukes moving in. They can take a bunch of castle fire. They can even take some onager fire, but not too much. You can tell because the Bloodless's balls are flaming and Survivalists are not, that the Bloodless does have the chemistry upgrade. And there's counterweights. I just saw there's chemistry, there's counterweights. I said this before as a joke, and I kind of like this joke, that in Age of Empires, it's not chlamydia that makes your balls flaming. It's chemistry. But in come the conics. This is why he researched stirrups. So many freaking onagers. If you go conics, you need to go stirrups. This is the slowest attacking cavalry unit in the game. Melee cavalry, I should say. Here we go. Survivalist tries to close in on the heavy hitters. What a game of dodging so far. This is fantastic. Everyone is trying to dodge onager shots. Krepos volley for green. Mamelukes for red. Everyone's dodging everything. Oh, he killed his own units there. And to be fair, Mamelukes should be pretty decent at killing dismounted conics too. They don't have any bonus against them, but only 50 HP against the now 14 attack is not terrible at all. This is where you stand and die, says Survivalist. Does he have chemistry yet? He does not have chemistry yet. Did that unit just teleport? I feel like that unit just teleported. 42. I'm gonna make a note and go back to this mark in the game. I feel like that onager teleported, in which case I'm gonna be very upset. Number one, that they released a patch very recently that didn't really do much, except I guess made multiplayer a little bit better, but that was odd. Heavy scorpions as well. Onagers, Krepos back up and running. 4 of them in little tiny OCD pleasing clump. And FYI, these are 2 civs that do have hussars, although the better hussar here going to the Bulgarians. You again are standing and fighting. Oh man. Good pancakes out of both players. One gets a bunch of Mamelukes, one gets a bunch of halberdiers. Why do I say the hussar for the Bulgarian is better? Because of stirrups, they attack 33% faster. Although right now our Bulgarian does not have any gold in order to upgrade his light cav to hussars. FYI, speaking of gold, so far Survivalist is doing a great job. Remember I said in the beginning, the Saracens are a civilization that if you can starve them of map control and resource collection, they're like the Turks. When they run out of gold, they got at least they have hussars, right? The Turks have hussars too with the extra pierce armor, but aside from that, an absolute terrible trash line. The Saracens at least have a okie dokie trash line, but like the Turks, if you can starve them of gold. I'm thinking of that game with Hera again. This now I'm trying not to call things, you know, because that game traumatized me so much. Hussars for both players. Pardon me, hussars for both players. Light cavalry movements for both players, both trying to snipe the heavier siege onager. And both of them have armies you can't really engage into. Survivalists can't engage into Mamelukes. Mamelukes can't engage into Scorpions and Kreposts. And to be fair, even Conics. The fact that it's a 2-for-1 unit is always so fun for me. Just because it's whatever counters cavalry does not counter infantry, and so when that unit gets dismounted, even though it only has 50 HP, man, its attack. I'm trying to click on one of its one of them so we can see the attack and the armor and all that stuff. Red clipping his own units here as well, and now he's expanding to the south here. This is open, by the way. Bloodless made no effort to fix that onager shot or those onager shots. Ram gets attacked. Conics are now attacking villagers. We'll keep an eye on them as the battle unfolds in front here. Mamelukes count is 18 going up to 23. And our Saracen has been penetrated. Let's see. Come on, click him. 17 attack. Not bad. 5-6 armor. So you can see how if you're all of a sudden confronted by 10 conics, you kill them, and then 10 dismounted conics show up in your face, zombified like a spell has been cast. Well, there's Warcraft 2, right? Tides of Darkness that had that spell for the orcs. You could resurrect as a skeleton unit or something like that. I forget exactly, but there was some spell like that. And to be fair, the Bloodless has stabilized 2 castles down here, and he's on the warpath. He's going after the villagers. We'll keep an eye on these Mamelukes. We'll see how many villagers they can kill, but the real story is the penetration of the base. With no Mamelukes, these Hussars are going to have to hold the line against the unit that is much, much stronger than them. 18 attack to your 11. 140 HP to your 95. And here we go. Bloodless drawn yet again into the death ball of Scorpions and Siege. Green buildings are falling one by one by one, but it looks like Bloodless is cleaning up those villagers to the southeast. The problem is, of your 30 army count, 24 of it is here. And as cool as it is to snipe villagers, as awesome as it is to cripple your opponent's economy, your economy is not exactly safe right now. It's quite large. You can afford to lose a number of villagers. But look at the mini-map. Survivalist has just expanded everywhere. But never bet against the Mameluke when you're playing against the cavalry civilization. I mean, these light cav are going to melt in the blink of a freaking eye. Mameluke for a counter unit. Another deadly thing about it is the attack speed of 2, which is pretty bonkers. Siege moving up north. Those Mamelukes have returned home just in time to destroy the siege rams and the units inside of it. Okay, that attack has stalled. The attack to the north looks like it's continuing, and now it's our Bulgarians' turn to kill villagers. We'll keep an eye on that. As well as, again, the main story is the front of the Bloodless's base, where Survivalist just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. Ooh, he should be able to get one of these onagers, right? No, maybe not, maybe not. He does get it. Just barely gets that onager. Northern Forest operation has been taken out as, oh my goodness, a whole bunch of villagers. And just like that, 30 plus villagers dying in the blink of an eye for our Saracen. Who, again, on paper, aside from the Scorpions, has the better armor. And to be fair, the Scorpions are kind of dispersed. Might be a good time to send that melee attack Mameluke in. And that is exactly what the Bloodless does. Oh, be careful not to get your own treb. Be careful not to get your own treb! To the west, we've got Mamelukes taking on literally everything the Bulgarian can throw at them, including 2 siege onagers creeping forward. The center of the base slowly being depopulated. Relic control is gone. And with it, all hope of victory. And Survivalist just smothering. Holy moly, like throwing a blanket on top of a fire. Survivalist has just smothered the Bloodless this game. Wow, look at the map control. I mean, again, a hilarious 4 little creposts being built, one right next to one another, one right next to the other. The north doesn't have anything that he needs, and so there's nothing here. A little bit of stone still left, but I think our Bulgarian with 1,000 stone is pretty okay in that department. He hasn't even mined the gold next. I love this move. If you can mine the riskier gold, mine that one first. Because you never know if the Bloodless shows up here with 1 million things, destroys your infrastructure, and you've mined this out, you've got no gold left. But if that happens now, the Bloodless can just take these villagers, move them here. Always mine the riskier gold first. Always steal your opponent's gold. Who's kidding who? If you can. And after a few attempts to break into the base, he finally does so, even though 13 Mamelukes are still here. What's the kill count on these 13? Of course, it's 40. It's always such a crazy kill count. 133 HP on a camel unit that throws a scimitar and comes with an attack bonus against cavalry. But even that unit couldn't best the overwhelming numbers from our Bulgarian. Overwhelming numbers, by the way, that came from map control and having those 4 town centers, having that eco up and running. Hussars, Mamelukes, and Onagers. Interesting that the Onagers were the 3rd most trained unit for the Bloodless. Survivalist, mostly halberdiers, mostly trash, and then a few conics. I'm curious as to how many Onagers he trained. APM for Survivalist, almost double his opponents right at the end of the game. His opponent right at the beginning of the game, the Bloodless. Let's take a look at this. Oh my goodness. I mean, if you remove the relic difference of 1,200, it's about 4 or 5% difference in economy, but right now it's even lower, like 3 or 4%. Most of all the trash going to the Saracen, all the scarce resources going to our Bulgarian. So again, Survivalists, look at that, almost 17,000 more gold than his opponent, coming from direct denial of the map. There was not even a moment. I actually trying to rack my brain and remember the earlier stages of the game, which were quite non-aggressive. But once the aggression started, I don't think the Bloodless built a single military building outside of his settlement, right? He was busy walling himself in, replacing the walls, backward walls, secondary, tertiary walls. And that just gave Survivalist says, you know what, hey, you're going to give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile, and I'm just going to set up shop everywhere. And I'm going to have how many stables? 8 stables, 9 barracks, 7 siege workshops, 4 crepos and a castle, 2 castles, including my defensive one. And with that massive military industrial complex, our Bulgarian just, number one, denies the Saracen the resources that he needs. Look at our Saracen. To be fair, probably could have sold about 9,000 wood. Who's kidding who? Yet another game where between these two players, where one of them ends up with just way too many resources in the bank. 9,400 wood, 5,700 food. Could have sold that easily. 1 conversion, 37 raisings to 8. And let's take a look at the kill count. 5 kills apart. After an almost hour game, 54-minute game, they're 5 kills apart, even though our Bulgarian has killed about 30 more villagers. Of course, yes, he's the one putting on all of the pressure. And look at this double wall off here happening. And even though the Mamelukes did do a good job cleaning up this area, you can still see all the dead bodies in red on the dance floor here. The exact same thing happened up here and up here. You can still see all the dead bodies on the dance floor. Oh, and he's not done. Oh, FYI, he's not done. The Conic is such an annoying raiding unit. You kill it, and then it resurrects into an infantry unit that can just keep killing. So if your villager survives with like 10 HP, oh, I'm safe. No. All of a sudden, this guy on 2 feet shows up with his flail and just crushes the back of that villager's head. And wow, what a fun game. What a fantastic strategic play out of Survivalist. Although, again, both players a little bit late in the game to get their military-industrial complexes up and running. The Bloodless, all internal. Survivalist, almost all external, and with that denies the resources. And when you deny the Saracens the resources, there's only so much of a fight they can put up. They're not a cheap civilization. Their unique unit does not cost 35 gold. It costs 85 gold among the food costs, etc. So Survivalist is doing a fantastic job. I love to see the onager play out of both players. And even though the Saracen, I believe, has the better onager, ultimately, it was our Bulgarian who took the fights, took the better engagements. Do we still have any onagers left? 5 of them with 23 kills. So not a bad... actually, wait a second. Before I say not bad... Oh my god, look at that. Actually, that's terrible. Survivalist. More than half of the kills are friendly fire. Okay, so not great, but you know what? When you've got this, and your opponent has whatever the hell this is, you can afford to kill some of your own units, especially if they're halberdiers. I'm assuming most of those kills, if not all of those 12 kills, are halberdiers. And now the castles to the south are being besieged. There's no way the Mamelukes can close, not with scorpions and onagers and a meat shield. Oh my. And with that, Survivalist takes map control, smothers his opponent, denies him those crucial resources and map presence that the Saracens need in order to win a game, especially on a closed map like Arena. And Survivalist, with the aggression pedal to the metal, takes the W, but GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.